whispers and rumors that don't get reported. Stories I write that are often distorted. Got my notebook and pen, and I'm ready to listen. Tell me the truth, I'll consider your position. I've seen killers with eyes so cold and dead, and others go to prison because of what someone said, rotting away for the rest of their lives, leaving a hole here on the outside. Things are sad here on Earth, and it's no wonder why, when you consider the sociopaths who remain in charge. It's me who sees the system for all its flaws, and I usually start with the probable cause. My right hand is reading the probable cause. This is the Probable Cause podcast. I'm Jamie Duffy, your host and a local journalist, and next to me is our co-host, Michael McAlexander. He is the Allen County Prosecutor. We are here today to address the investigation and prosecution of child sex crimes by this office. Those would include child molestation, child rape, child solicitation, and dissemination of material harmful to children, and other charges that the state legislature, I will repeat that, the state legislature, has written into law in the state of Indiana. The Fort Wayne Police Department has a unit called Crimes Against Persons with a staff of 2 sergeants and 9 detectives who work these cases. And if you're familiar with Odyssey, sometimes referred to as My Case, you will see every week there is someone charged with a sex crime in Allen County, sometimes more than that on that online resource. To add to that, we have some breaking news, and here it is. The Allen County Sheriff, Troy Hirschberger, told me Monday that he has, quote, just created a position and promoted that person in the investigative unit who will be investigating child sex crimes. This individual, this new investigator, will be trained by Intranet Crimes Against Children, work with Indiana State Police, and state and federal partners. I see a need for this is a direct quote from our Sheriff, Troy Hirschberger. Now, ICAC is an organization of 6,200 federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies dedicated to investigating, prosecuting, and developing effective responses to internet crimes against children. Since ICAC was formed, more than 89,000 people have been arrested. We are here to address accusations that child solicitation cases have not been adjudicated since 2023 when Mike was sworn in as a county prosecutor. Well, that's just not true. Take the case of 64-year-old Douglas Mieres, who was charged in November with child solicitation after ICAC and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children found he was contacting online people he thought were between 14 and 16 years old. With a search warrant, Fort Wayne police also found child porn. He was sentenced in July to 6 years on a felony 4 solicitation charge, the sentence which is set by the state legislature and is typically 2 to 12 years with an advisory of 6 years, which was his sentence. A level 4 felony in Indiana is a mid to high level criminal offense. Common examples include arson, burglary of a dwelling, and certain serious drug dealing or violent acts. My headline on November 12th, when he was charged, remember they got the tip in March, but he was charged in November, was, quote, disturbing text messages from man charged again with child solicitation. Here are a couple of paragraphs from the story, and I have written quite a few that you can find on our website and Facebook page concerning child sex crimes. Are you ready? The probable cause against Mieres details text messages from Mieres to his victims that are so disturbing, the exact messages will not be published by the probable cause. I am not a family newspaper, and yet I am not publishing those phrases. I will tell you that right now. The charge, quote, was the result of a cyber tip delivered in late March to the Fort Wayne Police Department from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The ICAC form, Internet Crime Against a Child, included 3 files of child pornography dating to the end of January. Charles Volz, a longtime investigator with FWPD's Crimes Against Persons unit, tracked the files to Mieres through IP and email addresses and phone numbers, court documents said. So you say, wow, the FWPD got the tip in March and then Mieres finally got charged in November. What took so long? I hear that literally all the time. And that's what Mike can tell you, why it takes that long. And sometimes it takes up to 2 years to charge these cases. Mike, go ahead.
Well, it depends how far along the case is.
Okay.
There are investigators out there that are working these, seeing who kind of bites. It takes a while for them to develop the, if you will, the trust of the prospective defendant, and also to reveal what are his real motives, and how has he presented himself. So you need to work that part of it. Once you get through that, and this is where, from an investigative standpoint, like every case, but these in particular are ones that are subject to an entrapment type defense.
Mm-hmm.
That, would the person have committed the crime but for the temptation that the law enforcement officer has created? And that's where these are sensitive. Now, I'm the first to say that I don't think jurors are very sympathetic to that type of defense on this type of case.
Absolutely not. Yes.
But legally, you have to look at appellate issues as well. Did the law enforcement officer offer enough incentives, if you will, to get the guy to do a crime that he otherwise wouldn't have done?
So it's really great for you guys when the FWPD, and now of course the Allen County Sheriff will be the same way, a tip from ICAC and the National Center. And that way you can go through your investigation and verify everything that they have found.
And it's also, when you get that, you are going to go later and try to get any computer, phones, and that takes time to analyze as well. What else is on there? If there is child sexual material or other illegal types of things.
Which is what they found in the Mieres case,
right,
which was under your office.
They want to go through and make sure that they got everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be a little frustrating, but, unlike maybe some of the groups that are doing this as vigilantes or something.
Although they don't like that word.
I know. I'm happy to use a different word, but private groups.
Right. Okay, there you go.
That as they take it to the step of a confrontation, and that is not always what we do in these investigations.
It would really be better if they turned over their material to ICAC, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's what law enforcement has asked, that when they reach a point where they've identified somebody as into this, let the police take it over and finish off the investigation. And that's where you have to verify all the stuff. And the police have to show that they didn't entrap them, that they worked with them, and it was of their own voluntary behavior that put them into this.
Right. At the Allen County Prosecutor's Office, there are at least a half a dozen deputy prosecutors assigned to work these cases. The intrepid Rebecca Grove, the intrepid Tracy Netzel, the intrepid Emily Snyder, and Megan Carmichael are all pretty much full-time. Tracy Netzel, of course, moved down to something else at this point. But that's out of an office of 41 deputy prosecutors who work on felony and misdemeanor cases of all kinds. Matt Skeens and Cohen Reiners are also splitting their time with these cases. There was a personnel issue with one of the deputy prosecutors who wasn't turning over these cases in a timely fashion, and she was suspended and demoted. The matter was taken care of. I can hear people...
And I just kind of want to jump in.
Sure.
Because when we talk about those cases, we're not talking about just internet-type crimes. We're talking about rapes. We're talking about child molesting. Those are probably the two biggest areas that we're going after, the people that have molested children or raped. And
And I mean, it would be impossible to say even how many cases since you became prosecutor that have been adjudicated either by a court. I mean, I attended the trial of a man, Shane Frost, that they brought to justice. She was only like 12 years old, and it was he also faces something, I believe, in Elkhart, and he got a number of years for it. And she got in there. She walked to the police station herself. We talked about this with Tracy. Remember Tracy Netzel? And she knew the age was 31. And that was one of your cases. And it was adjudicated successfully. And we're really glad that it was.
We've had a ton of cases that fall into this category. We also have the sexual misconduct with a minor.
Yes, I left that one out.
Where basically, if you're in a position of authority with a child and you abuse that trust and use your position to establish a relationship, even if voluntary, but if they're below certain age gaps, that is a crime. So that can haul in teachers, coaches,
Trusted
therapists,
families.
trusted family, all sorts of positions.
Well, you just had the one with the two Graber brothers. That was they did take pleas, but they got considerable prison time, and now they're going to be they took plea deals up in DeKalb County as well. So I can hear people say in the case of Douglas Meares, I'm back to him, 6 years, that's all. And why a plea deal? People are really complaining about plea deals. Okay, in 2024, the last year I can get numbers from I-Corps and the Supreme Court, new cases in this county, felony and misdemeanor, totaled over 10,000. We believe that's an exaggeration because of the way they were set up. There were obviously dismissals, the way that they were online. It was probably more like 3,000 cases.
I believe we run around 3,000, maybe a little bit over felony cases, 5,000 to 6,000 misdemeanor cases.
I mean, that's a huge amount to have to take to a jury trial in a year when the court is absolutely congested. And even if we do get another criminal court judge, which we really, really need in Allen County, and is verified by weighted measures at the state, they still couldn't even begin to do 3,000 trials a year. It would just, we did, I'm going to have to ask Brock to republish that podcast on plea agreements, and then hopefully people will listen to it. Maybe we'll take a chunk out and put it on there so everybody can see just how difficult it would be for literally anywhere in the United States to adjudicate every single case in a trial.
I mean, just some simple math. If you look at, there's roughly 240 working days, 250 in a year.
Right.
And this doesn't really account for any vacations. And let's say that each case got tried in a day, which we know that the more serious cases take murder cases 3 or 4 or 5 days.
3 to 4, definitely, yeah.
Most of the sex crimes cases are going to be at least 3 days.
Yeah.
A lot of other cases, just the jury selection process takes a few hours. So, but even if every case was just took 1 day, if you only have 250 working days and you have 3 judges and 3,000 cases, each judge could only do 250 cases a year, so you'd have half of them.
If you were lucky.
If you were lucky, and that, as I said, excludes vacations, conferences. So, the actual number of working days available for trial are not that high.
And let's not forget, if there is a plea deal, the victim has to agree pretty much. The victim or the victim's family, if the victim's no longer around. It's not just
legally, we have a duty to inform them. They do not have veto right over a plea, but in practical terms, we look for something that is acceptable to the family.
I see that over and over and over
Right.
again. Tessa has always made it clear. Tessa Helge, who is chief counsel, a lot of these murder cases, and Tom Shaley, who's chief deputy prosecutor, they always do their best to make sure that the family, if there's a plea deal, that they will talk to them. And that's another part of the job is just working with the family. And furthermore, if you don't like the number of years that a person got, like Douglas Mieres, and we've got to say, what he did was disgusting. There's nobody I know in this office or anywhere that I bumped into that could ever justify what he did, right? But the police don't make the laws, nor do the prosecutors. It is the state legislature. So if you don't like the fact that child solicitation is only a felony 4, then you've got to start lobbying to change it. So anyway, to answer the question from Bikers Against Predators, when he said, none of our cases have been investigated, charged, or convicted, whatever you want to say. Mike told me there's one case from a similar group that is in
the system.
You can't talk about it, obviously, because you could jeopardize that case. Also, you have to think about this. A good defense attorney for one of these creeps, I'm just going to call them creeps because that's what they are, is going to say that these biker groups may have an agenda. This is their livelihood. This is providing that satisfying gotcha justice that really does inspire us. And it has made a lot of parents and grandparents and aunties and uncles aware of just what is out there and to watch your children. However, even though they are a registered 501c3, i.e. nonprofit, the group is making money to pay themselves and their staff unless they have some other way to bankroll their activities. A smart defense attorney may also claim entrapment. And if a solicitation case went as far as a jury, that might make a difference in their decision, which is what Mike already said. Now, I have tried to contact Bikers Against Predators who made the allegations online, and all their followers are bashing this prosecutor who is an honorable man. I have communicated with Big Country Predators Exposure, who had something to say about the name of the podcast, which I found kind of funny. I said, hey, listen to my podcast because it is very critical of the criminal justice system, and Mike knows that. We are willing to talk to you. We are waiting to hear directly from you. It's pretty easy to go on our Facebook page and send us a message. Brock and I monitor that page all the time. This is a very emotional issue and one that everyone agrees just shouldn't happen. But let's not forget the 2 young girls who were killed at or near a Delphi preserve. They went there to meet up with a fictional, online, cute boy named Anthony Schatz that one of them had been evidently talking to online. Instead, they met the people or the person who killed them. And to those who still don't believe these cases are being prosecuted, well, you can just ask Douglas Mieres. Mike, do you want to say anything else?
I think we all are wanting to take these people that prey on kids off the street.
Exactly.
But we do have an ethical responsibility on our cases to present them appropriately. I've received, and legally and ethically, and that generally means everything that was done on that investigation, from the initial contact through even the confrontation, we have to disclose all of the information off of everybody's electronic devices. We need to do that. But
that's called
we can't
discovery,
start.
right?
Yeah, we can't start in the middle. We have to show it all.
Right.
If there is information that could conceivably lead to impeachment of a witness, we have to provide that. So we have to do criminal background checks on witnesses, and if there is a motivation, that needs to be shared. So there is quite a bit to this. I know I got read some comments when this came up that I thought were very thoughtful and showed that some of the people doing this have also tried to fix those criticisms. And I respect that they were able to do that. But it does show that there were problems initially. But we have to have that full disclosure. We really have that same obligation. We have the obligation on every case. But the Supreme Court has kind of created, some of you may have heard of Giglio list. And what that is if there are police officers that have misbehaved in some fashion, that their credibility can be challenged, a prosecutor is supposed to supply that information to the defense in a case. It has not been very well defined over the years, but certainly if a cop does something, writes a report that's false, it questions his credibility. In a day of having all of these in-car videos and body cameras, police officers need to be careful to make sure that whatever written report they write matches what their video shows. Otherwise, they will get roasted on cross-examination. But even before that, if we see that, we should disclose that to the defense, and that will make a big difference on how that case is ultimately handled. So we have to do that for police. Luckily, it doesn't happen all the time, or very often, really.
Can't remember any.
And usually there are other remedies to get rid of officers that misbehave in some fashion, particularly if they break the law. But this also includes, fudging a little bit. So it shouldn't come as a surprise for somebody that is attempting to play a police officer that they should be put under the same scrutiny. And I think that is probably not as well understood by the people doing this. If you assume that their motives are just, they want to take these people off the street, they want to protect kids.
Right.
And I think we all wonder when we have one of these cases, how many other times did this happen?
Absolutely, yeah.
And if we don't stop this guy now, how many times will it happen in the future?
Right.
So back to, we're all kind of on the same page, but we just have things that we have to follow ethically and legally that do not come to the average person's mind. I will also say some of the comments I read were less than respectful and less than accurate.
Oh, gosh.
And some of the accusations against me personally, and I don't know who these people are.
In another day, it would have risen to defamation. But now with social media, there's just no way. But
I think I'm considered a public figure. So I have to show more than the average person would. But, I just think that's an example of, and we see this seemingly much more. I think the term for it now is keyboard warriors that can say anything they want about anybody, make wild accusations. And the trick as a public official is to balance out free speech and what people are saying with what is true. And it has become more difficult with anybody can post anything of determining what is truly accurate and what is fair. And I certainly recognize that I'm in the business of trust. What my office does, what we do collectively, our 120 employees and 40-some attorneys, we need the trust of the public that they believe that we're playing by the rules, that we're being fair to the defendants, but still there to protect the public. So
social media has opened up a whole another world that we did not picture. And, I will say on all those comments, because, it's like, gosh, they're bashing Mike, and I know he's a good man. And I know that they've adjudicated these cases over and over and over again. I just told you one that was child solicitation. But, it's just like after a while, it just got to the point where, hey, most of these people are followers of Bikers Against Predators, And so it would have been nice if some of our friends came forward and said that. But I just don't think they wanted to get involved.
Well,
wisely so.
Well,
wisely so.
And this is an area that people are fascinated by.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes
and
a predator.
By. And,
the TV show, It Takes a Predator,
Catch a Predator, I think it was called,
was on for nearly a decade or so. And people don't want these people, usually guys, to be doing these things. They're
but
going
then I think they
after
took
kids.
it off because there was a reason for it. I'll have to do the research on that one.
Well, I'm just saying that the public interest in this is great. We are all afraid of our children being exploited and getting involved with somebody they shouldn't. What they can see online and hear and do is frightening. I think
social media has just provided these people with an opportunity to, like those two little girls in Delphi, they thought they were meeting this handsome kid. And it wasn't the case at all. And so how many of the children who are responding to chat rooms and social media and everything else are getting there? And it's horrifying to think of. And that's why I say Bikers Against Predators and Big Country and all those people, you're actually, what you're doing is very good in a way because you're making us aware of just how many creeps are out there. But at the same time, the Allen County Prosecutor, law enforcement, ICAC, and everybody else, just have to follow rules. And of course, I did bring the Sixth Amendment right here in all criminal prosecutions. I won't read it, but I will recommend that everybody read the Sixth Amendment because we do have laws. Anyway, this has been The Probable Cause. You can find us on Facebook under that name. You can go to www.theprobablecause.com. You can listen to this on Spotify and Apple. And we hope you follow us. It would just be absolutely great. We hope that we have helped you understand this issue. And for right now, we're going to have to say goodbye. This episode is filmed and edited by Frosty Pictures. The Probable Cause is produced by Maumee Media.
Worried when I crossed the Michigan line, a cop from Steuben County waiting on I-69. A headlamp went out while he pulled me over. Charged me with possession after I rolled down the window. Now that's skunk. Indians a trip when it comes to weed. It's like who doesn't smoke or use gummies? Your grandpa, your brother, your rich friend from school? Hell, throw in the whole courthouse and my attorney too. It's time those assholes change these stupid laws. It ain't worth the paper for a probable cause. Sitting on a bar stool in my usual place, this guy next to me said he was looking for some cocaine. Hell, I just sold him an 8-ball with a little piece off for me. But my buyer was a cop? Should've known he was a creep. So I'm a dealer, right? You gotta be kidding. It's a rich man's drug. I just take it because I'm injured. 8 years in Westville with a monkey on my back. There's more drugs in here than you can shake a shank at. One dirty drug test, man, this system's flawed. Undercover screwed me in my probable cause. Street crimes never did me no favors. I'm hooked on Fetty. I'm a junkie, not a felon. Told that son of a bitch on the way to lockup. I can't seem to shake it. I need help, not mocking. What do you want from someone who's been through the system? Drugs all through the house before mom and dad went to prison. Throw me in jail and give me a fine? Someday I'll be dead and away from your kind. Now I'm at the courthouse in front of a judge. Can't say my public defender cares for me much. Crimes are committed on both sides of the law. God help me now with this probable cause. C shift never gets old. Anything can happen when you're out on patrol. You think I'm just eating donuts, man? Give me a break. Nothing on this job is a piece of cake. Lights and sirens activated. This knucklehead wants to chase. Baby mama at the scene just spit in my face. Wife's worried that someday I won't be pulling up at all. You'll read about my killer in a probable cause. Man. She went through my phone and she seen my text. I told her forget it. It was just my ex. She took a swing and knocked me flat. Man, I went wild and hit her back. Judge slapped me with a no contact order. Now she's got the kids and she's staying with her mother. So she started it all and I have to take the fall. You can read my whole story in the Probable when I was young. Caught a case for dealing and did my time. Yeah, I got a record, but I was doing fine. Running my own business on the southeast side. Yeah, I got a gun. I kept it on hand. Told the cop my reason, thought he'd understand. In this neighborhood, you need some protection. Attorney thought I could get just community corrections, but the judge decided to send me to prison. Can't get ahead no matter how hard I try. Read the probable cause, it'll make you
Whispers
cry.
and rumors that don't get reported. Stories I write that are often distorted. Got my notebook and pen, and I'm ready to listen. Tell me the truth, I'll consider your position. I've seen killers with eyes so cold and dead, and others go to prison because of what someone said, rotting away for the rest of their lives, leaving a hole here on the outside. Things are sad here on earth, and it's no wonder why, when you consider the sociopaths who remain in charge. It's me who sees the system for all its flaws, and I usually start with the probable cause. My right hand is reading the probable cause.